So I want to welcome back to the RNL Revolution Nothing Less show Dr. Phil Rice, a renowned emergency room physician and friend of the revolution. Phil has made it an important addition to every season of the RNL show. And today we're going to be speaking with Phil not so much about medicine to sustain and heal our bodies and minds, but the medicine society needs for a real revolution. And perhaps that will have a beneficial effect on people's mental and physical well-being. So what we want to talk about, Phil, is this recent fund drive that actually we're still in the middle of. Our goal is $100,000, and we just had a live stream a couple Sundays ago in which we raised the $20,000 goal for that day, and you played a very important and big role in doing that. So I was wondering if you could discuss some of what you did. I understand that you discussed the fund drive with other professionals, and in those discussions you mentioned how important these interviews that Bob Avakian did with Sansara and myself on the RNL show. So I was hoping that you could maybe first bring out what was the most important lesson that you learned in taking up this fund drive?
Well, there are several things that I kind of picked up on. Is that I decided to change gears a little bit after listening to all three interviews. And the gear that I changed was, instead of going to where most of the activist professors were, I went to just the professors and people and doctors that I knew on a casual basis and who I'd either gone to school with, or people who weren't doctors but other professionals who were in my circles that I never really considered because they weren't out demonstrating. They were never politically active, and kind of had, for some reason, had written them off, which was kind of the opposite of what BA was talking about. So I said, let me go and talk to all these people. And I started emailing them, and they started emailing me back about, about the interviews and talking about, this is interesting, or that, can you send me clips because it's too long, or that, geez, never saw this side of him. And I think that I learned a lot in terms of who I went out to. So one of the big lessons was enlarging my circle, and I realized I had thousands of people that I've known for many years, and that they needed to not be written off, and we needed to actually reach out to them, not just the people who were active politically and that are in the demonstrations, and even though you do go to them too, but I decided to reach out in a much broader fashion.
That's it.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Second thing.
No, the second thing that really comes out is that you don't have to know and explain what he's saying. You just have to let him say it. He's 1,000 times better than what you're going to end up being. So my point that I was trying to, even when I was talking to these people, and they were like, yeah, I kind of agree with this part, but I can't tell other people. I can't explain it like it's like, no. In fact, don't try and do it. Let them look at the interviews themselves, and he'll do all the work for you. That's the key. That's the other key thing.
So that was advice that you gave to people to take these interviews and spread them themselves. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't think that you have to watch it, even though you do need to watch it 4 or 5 times and try and memorize it, or try to give the interview yourself. Let him do the interview.
I was wondering if you can recall even the gist of any comments that people made, especially some of these people who hadn't been so much in your activist circles when they listened to these interviews, and what made them consider even donating or spreading the interviews.
The reactions ranged from, I think this is very dangerous. This could be suicidal if we don't win. And talking about what are our chances of winning, which I thought was actually a good thing, in the sense that they were considering the whole idea that it's possible. And what factors lead into whether you have the basis to win and whether you don't. Because one person basically said they outnumber us. And I said, well, that may be what it seems like now, but we don't know what our forces will be when that window of opportunity actually presents itself. And so getting into some of that was important. I think that some of the younger people basically that I touched base with, they talked about whether it was possible to get people to listen. And if they could listen, they think that they would have a chance. We would all have a chance. If people don't listen because they're all into their gigs, into their worlds, the world of their micro worlds, as they would call them, then maybe we don't have a chance. And how do you break into their consciousness to get them to watch it? And they were speaking a little frustration with about some of their own circles.
How do you pose to people that without your support, people aren't going to know about this, that this is not a known thing? It's just by a coincidence of the work that you do, Phil, that they know you and you're able to reach them. But we're launching a campaign to do advertising and do all kinds of promotional work and sustain a force of people out in the field in different parts of the country, but especially here in LA. How do you ask them, though, to contribute right off the bat and to send in, to encourage others to do the same?
Well, I mean, part of it's just asking it for upfront and telling them why it's so necessary and why that, given the situation, given the perilousness of what we see in the world, not just in terms of climate change and the brutal murders of Black and brown youth in this country, but also nuclear war kind of peering on the edge of the horizon here. So I think that when people are looking for a way out, they have to see that, look, there's another way. You need to contribute to getting this, voice out so that more people can hear that there is another way. And I think that on top of that, my feeling is that if you really are serious, and people will take you as serious when you start asking them to donate and contribute. Because if you don't, they figure, there's no way you're going to do this. You're talking about a monumental task overthrowing this monster. There's no way you're going to do that without money. So when you ask and talk about, look, contributing to this is critical and you have a special role in making this happen. And then, challenging them. I think the challenging them and getting them to see the broader picture of what's really at stake and how much of a change this can make towards our goal by them contributing and getting BA's voice out, it can't be understated.
Phil, I think it's important that you said that if you don't ask, you're not going to get the funds and you're not going to be taken seriously. And so with this, I think we'll wrap this up for today. And but you're not off the hook for the rest of season 4. We're going to be calling you back, not just about COVID and not just about fundraising, but about other things as well. So stay warm up there in New England, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.